What if I told you there's a Jewish historian who lived in the very century Jesus walked the earth and wrote about him? Not as a follower, but as an observer. Flavius Josephus's account of Jesus is one of the most intriguing non-Christian perspectives, offering details that bridge historical fact with spiritual belief. From miracles to crucifixion, his descriptions provide a window into a world shaped by this enigmatic figure. When discussing Jesus, most of us turn to the Gospels for answers. But what happens when we step outside the Bible and into the annals of Jewish history? Flavius Josephus, a Jewish historian born just years after Jesus' crucifixion, wrote about him in ways that both align with and challenge traditional narratives. His works, particularly Antiquities of the Jews, offer rare external validation of Jesus' existence, his impact, and the controversies surrounding him. To fully appreciate Josephus' account, we must understand the world he lived in. Flavius Josephus was born in 37 CE, in a politically volatile Judea under Roman rule. This was a time when Roman governors like Pontius Pilate struggled to control Jewish unrest, and messianic expectations were at an all-time high. The Jewish people longed for a savior to free them from oppression, a sentiment that birthed numerous prophetic figures claiming divine authority. Josephus himself was no stranger to this turbulent climate. He came from a priestly family, was trained in Jewish law, and eventually found himself embroiled in the Jewish-Roman War of 66 to 70 CE. After his capture, Josephus became a historian under Roman patronage, writing for an audience deeply curious about Jewish customs and figures. His position as a mediator between Jewish tradition and Roman interests makes his perspective on Jesus uniquely valuable and uniquely cautious. Josephus doesn't offer much about Jesus' birth or early years, but what he omits is as telling as what he includes. Unlike the Gospels, Josephus doesn't mention Bethlehem, a virgin birth, or angelic proclamations. Instead, his focus on Jesus begins with his public life, reflecting his intent to document Jesus' historical rather than theological significance. This silence on Jesus' origins may also highlight Josephus' Jewish perspective. In first-century Judaism, a person's deeds and public reputation often overshadowed their lineage. Thus, for Josephus, Jesus' actions as an adult likely held more weight than the miraculous stories surrounding his birth. Josephus refers to Jesus as a wise man and a teacher whose words captivated many. He describes Jesus as a moral guide whose teachings resonated deeply with both Jews and Gentiles. Though Josephus doesn't record specific sermons, his acknowledgement of Jesus as a teacher of wisdom suggests that his messages of love, humility, and justice were universally impactful. What's striking is Josephus' description of Jesus' following. He notes that Jesus gathered a diverse group of disciples, including both the wealthy and the poor, breaking social barriers in a way that was uncommon for religious leaders of the time. This detail aligns with gospel accounts but adds a historical layer, showing how Jesus' teachings transcended societal norms and unified people from all walks of life. Josephus' mention of Jesus' astonishing deeds provides tantalizing clues about his reputation as a miracle worker. While Josephus doesn't detail specific miracles, his phrasing implies that Jesus' actions were widely regarded as extraordinary. For Josephus, a historian writing for a Roman audience, these miracles would have been a delicate topic. To openly affirm them as divine could alienate his Roman patrons, while dismissing them outright might discredit his historical objectivity. Thus, Josephus walks a fine line, acknowledging Jesus' miraculous reputation without endorsing it, a testament to the widespread belief in Jesus' supernatural abilities, even among skeptics. Josephus offers insight into the fraught relationship between Jesus and the Jewish leaders of his time. He describes Jesus as a figure whose popularity posed a threat to the established religious order. The Jewish authorities, concerned about maintaining their influence and avoiding Roman intervention, viewed Jesus' growing following with suspicion. This tension reached its peak when Jesus' teachings and actions began to challenge traditional interpretations of Jewish law. Josephus hints at this friction, suggesting that it was the Jewish authorities who ultimately brought Jesus to Pilate. This portrayal aligns with gospel narratives while emphasizing the political undertones of the conflict. Josephus' account of Jesus' crucifixion is perhaps the most significant part of his writings. He attributes Jesus' death to a trial led by Pontius Pilate, under pressure from influential Jewish leaders. For Josephus, this event was not just a religious turning point but a political one, reflecting the delicate balance between Roman authority and Jewish autonomy. Josephus also notes the aftermath of the crucifixion, remarking on the persistence of Jesus' followers. He writes that they remained devoted to his teachings, even believing in his resurrection. This detail underscores the enduring impact of Jesus' life and death, as his followers carried his message forward despite intense persecution. Finally, Josephus reflects on Jesus' lasting influence. He acknowledges the rise of the Christian movement, which he describes as a group still devoted to Jesus to this day. This statement is remarkable for its recognition of Christianity's growth within just a few decades of Jesus' death. Josephus's observations reveal a nuanced understanding of Jesus' legacy, not just as a religious figure, but as a catalyst for cultural and social change. His writings suggest that Jesus' impact extended far beyond the Jewish community, shaping the religious and political landscape of the Roman Empire. Flavius Josephus's account of Jesus offers a rare glimpse into the historical figure behind the faith. His writings, while brief, capture a man who was both revered and controversial, a teacher whose words inspired devotion and dissent. Through Josephus, we see a Jesus who transcended the boundaries of religion, culture, and politics, leaving a legacy that continues to shape the world. Whether viewed as a wise man, a miracle worker, or a revolutionary, Jesus' story, as told by Josephus, remains a fascinating chapter in history.